Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd? Here. Trustee Zupan?
Here.
I'll entertain a motion to recess into executive session with action to be taken on personnel matters and litigation. It was moved by Trustee Grant, second by Trustee Jones. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate? Todd? Yes. Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. We'll be back, shouldn't take that long.
Joy, so we're doing food baskets.
Make all food baskets easier.
Really, I'd rather do food baskets.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, at least that wasn't a long one.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to reconvene. It was moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Grant. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Jones?
Here.
Yes.
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Todd? Yes. Zupan?
Yes.
Brewer?
Yes.
And Grant?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate. One. Okay. Next, approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the special meeting public hearing minutes of July 25th, 2017.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Brewer, second by Trustee Todd. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tate?
Yes.
Todd? Yes. Zupan?
No.
Brewer?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
And Jones?
Yes. Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of July 25th, 2017.
So moved. Second.
It was moved by Trustee Todd, second by Trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Todd? Yes. Zupan?
No.
Brewer?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
The motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve the special meetings minutes for August 15th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Todd, second by Trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Zupan?
No.
Brewer?
Yes.
Grant?
Abstain.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Todd? Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of August 22nd, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Todd, second by Trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Brewer?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Todd? Yes. Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Mayor's report. I have a couple of things here. First of all, I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, and I'm sure this is going to be put on the site if it's not on there already, from our Congresswoman Robin Kelly. She's hosting her 5th annual hiring event and job readiness workshop. This hiring, I have the copy here if anyone can get a copy of it, and like I said, it should be disseminated on the website. This is going to be on Friday, October 27th from 9 to noon in the gymnasium of the South Suburban College, which is on 158th and State Street in South Holland. And what happens here is the employers are actually there waiting to hire qualified people. So if you know anyone that's going to come to this, I would suggest that on Wednesday, 2 days before, October 25th, from 6 to 7, in the community room, and those 2 different locations, but when you're looking for a job, you try to get all enrolled as you can. At the Calumet City Library, 660 South Manatee in Calumet City, the instructors from the Workforce Partnership will be there to interview you, and how to prepare a resume and strategies for successfully navigating hiring events. So basically, they're going to tell you how to come to this event on the 27th, that you're going to present yourself to an employer, and they kind of know what they're looking for when you come, because a lot of times you think that your resume will be all that you need. They're really looking at you. That's why they talk to you, to see what you have to say, to see. They're asking questions about certain things. Those answers are key because they find out a lot about you. So it's good to go to a prep, as they call it, the 25th, which is Wednesday, even though it's in 2 different places. So when you get there on 27th and you actually talk to the employers, you'll have a heads up on it. So I have this, and it'll be on the website. And also some of the participants will be UPS, ComEd, Metro, Comcast, CTA, Post Office, MyJack, Franciscan's Health, Lakeside Meadows, and Cook County Sheriff's Department. So if anybody that you know that's looking for employment, this is one of the ways that you can have what I call it a human resume. You sit there and you actually tell a person a little bit about yourself, and that's how they do it. Secondly, Sam's Club and Jewel will be here at the Village Hall Friday, October 13th from 10 to 2 p.m. Sam's Club will be doing renewals and new sign-ups for membership. Jewel will be offering flu shots. I think, I may have said it myself, said they were free. Walgreens were free. They'll be offering flu shots, and depending on your insurance is what you have to pay. And it's they give you 10% coupon for groceries when you receive the shot. So bring your insurance card with you. So this way they'll know what to charge you. And last but not least, we had an executive session, and we were in regards to personnel. And at this time, I would like to ask for a motion for the appointment of Paulette Meeks to deputy clerk.
So moved. Second.
It was moved by, I didn't think it was Paul, okay, moved by Bernice Brewer, trustee Brewer, and second by trustee Todd. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Grant.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Tate.
Yes.
Todd. Yes. Zupan. Yes.
Motion is carried.
Brewer. Second.
Motion is carried. In the village clerk's report, I'm sure she, do you have anything before you ask for the office,
Maybe they
oath
didn't
of
do
office, Madam Clerk? And do you have a report other than that?
I do.
You want to get that first? Yes.
I have a couple
He
of
was gonna
things
give it to him.
that I would want to bring to your attention. Community events. We will be having a Christmas basket giveaway. We're planning it for December the 16th from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the Senior Center. Trustee Todd and I are working on that together. We have a tax appeals seminar coming up October 25th, and I will appeal to you, and I believe I got out an e-blast earlier today, that if you are planning to appeal your assessment, then if you're asking for a review to appeal your assessment, you need to either go online to the Cook County Clerk's office to do so there, or you can go to Bloom Township. They will receive your appeal. However, the commissioner who will be with us on the 25th, he is the one that will approve it. But he can't approve what's not been appealed first. So if you are interested in getting that up-close look at your appeal process and what you can expect, he will take the documents with him, and I think that it would just set us a little bit in front of some of the other people.
No, I said I had a question, so we can get it clear, so I don't want someone saying, when he comes on the 25th, is it?
Correct.
We've already should have made our appeal, not our review, but our appeal online.
Correct.
And when he comes, will he have documentation, or do we have to get something that we be doing online, bring it to him?
Bring that to him in your tax bill,
Tax bill, and bring the show that we did?
that you have made an appeal online or over at Bloom Township.
Okay, and he's part of the board of review.
Yes, he's the commissioner of the Board of Review. And the person that works at Bloom Township who conducts these type of trainings, she will be in attendance as well. So they are working together.
Okay, but first of all, what you want the residents to do is to first file that appeal, either online or at the county courthouse building, and then bring that back to show that you applied.
Yes.
That you, okay.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want someone coming here saying, well, you told me I could appeal right here. Okay.
It's not the county courthouse, it's Bloom Township. I mean, you can do it there too, but Bloom Township on Allstate is close.
No, Bloom Township, all it does is do the work for you. You still have to go down to the county courthouse and actually file.
And the deadline is next Monday,
Yeah.
16th.
I just want to make sure, so I don't want to throw somebody off me, make that clear that when you come here on the 25th, you've already appealed, and now you just want to have them review your appeal.
Okay.
Make one thing I want to. Residents should be advised that when they file at Bloom Township, they do have to go to Marvin Courthouse. They should get a copy and take with them, because sometimes things get lost between the two locations. So when you file at Bloom Township, get a copy
They give you a
and
copy.
take it with you.
They give you a copy of Bloom Township.
They didn't. I would not trust that.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk.
One last thing, from time to time, volunteers come by the front desk and they would really like to give us some of their service, and or they're here because they're appointed by the court to do community service. And we have a young man that came today who's in need of 108 community service hours within the next month.
He gets there after 108 down in a month.
By December 19th. However, he works full-time.
Oh. You got a problem, okay.
Yes. Yes, we acknowledge that, but he just said whatever he can do, he's willing, and then if he had to go in, if he could just show the effort that he's been trying, then he could go before the judge and ask for a continuance to give him a little more time. So, if anyone is in need of a volunteer, or you have time, we do have a young man. I did tell him about trunk or treat already, as well as the parade.
Question,
Yes.
is this a court order?
Yes.
Well, I guess I would have to ask you later then. I mean, because, you're working around kids. I don't know what someone did in order to get themselves,
And generally, I don't ask you to
Situation.
write.
because, that's a lot of time, for community service, so.
It's two different.
So, yeah, so that's a different, it was a high school student looking to fulfill their community service, and it's a whole different situation than,
We do have to talk because he did work this summer with you guys, for the summer program.
you mean for Bloom Township?
No, we'll talk.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk. So, Mr. Mayor, that completes my report.
I guess she's not.
Okay, at this time, could Ms. Paula Meeks please come forward?
How could she do that?
Coming and quit watching me go all the time. It's illegal.
No? He said no.
Well, come in, remember she would give it
Please
up?
take the oath of office for Deputy Village Clerk. I'd like you to repeat after me. I, Paulette Meeks, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Village Clerk in the village of Sauk Village, in the counties of Cook and will aforesaid, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Deputy Village Clerk, the office of Deputy Village Clerk, according to the best of my ability. Then you can sign it, Paulette Meeks, Deputy Village Clerk.
Thank you.
He's taking care of all his funds.
And then
He's filled all the positions.
Ain't got any of this.
You better hope nobody else drops out, because he ain't got nobody to do it.
Okay, village engineer, Mr. Jim Zarni.
Thank you, Mayor. Bear with me. We'll talk about lead tonight. The recent events concerning elevated lead levels in Flint, Michigan have spurred public interest in the lead content of drinking water. Although the vast majority of municipal water systems are in compliance with current lead and copper standards, the village is now mandated to comply with additional requirements. The Illinois legislature enacted Senate Bill 550 on January 16, 2017, which requires the following. The village must prepare, submit to the IEPA, and post on the village's website a water main and water service material inventory by April 15th of 2018. This inventory must list the total number of water service lines in the system, list the number of known lead service lines, including those privately owned, be updated on an annual basis, and be available for inspection during the IEPA's annual inspection. The village must notify water users of the following. If there are elevated lead levels that may developed in areas with known or suspected lead service lines when water main or water meter replacement projects commence. The best practices for mitigating risk of consuming water containing lead utilizing updated instructions and educational materials. And whenever testing indicates a lead result above the action level of 15 micrograms per liter with appropriate consumer education information provided. Very fortunately for Sauk Village, the village has 0 lead services. They're all copper, so that's a relief. We have the water service material inventory exhibit nearly completed, which we will need to post to the village's website, very easy. And then public education materials concerning lead will also be provided to post on the website. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And that gentleman sitting next to you will be the one that you need to get the information from so we can, which we already know that you get it anyway, so.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you. Reports of departments, committees, and commissions. Finance and Administration, Director Mohan Rao.
Thank you very much, Mayor and the Board. First of all, I need to request the Board that we need about $120,000 that needs to be transferred from the water fund in order to pay payroll as well as payroll liabilities, which is on October 13th, which is the payroll day. It has to be transferred tomorrow morning before 11 a.m. So request Mayor and the Board
face.
for the approval.
Oh my God.
And the next thing is, we have prepared the COPS grant report for the third quarter, which is in the amount of $11,687.28. That should be here within another 10 days. Third thing is, I have reported the third quarter Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity report. That's the grant for B-box repair and B-box repair and the fire hydrant repairs. That is for the third quarter report I have done. And the last one is we have collector's report for the month of June. That is the corrected report. Property taxes, $8.33. Other taxes, $230,057.94. License and permits, $69,327. Fees and services, $183,707.31. Grants, negative $2,227.61. Miscellaneous income, $111,823.79. Total revenue for the month of June is $592,696.76. July collector's report. Properties tax, $791,455.97. Other taxes, $339,300.73. License and permits, $15,334. Fees and services, $256,618.73. Grants, $20,449.37. Transfers, $327,666.32. Miscellaneous income, $100,279.65. Total revenue for the month of July is $1,851,104.77. That ends my report. The collector's reports are available on my desk, and if anybody needs them.
Could you take a copy and put one in each one of the trustees' boxes along with the,
Yes, I have already emailed the copies of this report to the board of trustees and mayor.
Mohan, quick question. How will you be collecting our approval of the transfer? Are you
they're ready to talk about that right now.
Oh.
I'm ready to ask that so we get through.
And the collector's report for the month of August and September will be done for the next board meeting. It will be available for the next board meeting. That ends my report.
Question. Is it that we're waiting on anything that we fell short, or?
I think we are short by 120,000.
Are we waiting on something to come in that just haven't come in, or, I mean, besides
Probably,
hope and prayer?
probably it will not be here until after October 25th. So,
Okay,
the income tax and sales tax will be reported by October 25th. And we might get the funds by that time, so that's fine.
and what are the chances they're going back into the water fund, to the general fund?
Once we get the income tax and sales tax, I will plan on refunding back to water sewer fund.
So at our next board meeting, we can talk about the fact that you put it back.
Yes.
Comes in.
Is the sales tax and property tax more than 120,000?
Probably the income tax will be around 80,000. Sales tax will be approximately about 23 or 24,000. We will have telecommunication tax in the amount of approximately about 16 to 17,000. So that will comprise about $120,000. That's my report.
Mohan, you mentioned the report from fire hydrant and V-Box. I didn't understand what you were saying.
Oh, that's a grant for V-Box's repair as well as fire and hydrants repair.
So how much did we get? Are we getting that or?
No, we are not getting, we have already gotten, it is a reporting that I have to make every quarter that I am reporting. We have spent approximately about 35,000 for the both grants. The other remaining grant may not be coming in according to the state of Illinois governor's.
So the one grant covers both things, fire hydrants and V-Boxes, as you're saying. So how much is the total grant?
The total grant is approximately about $75,000.
So we just spent 35,000.
We have spent approximately 35,000. Whatever we got from state of Illinois, we have spent.
And this is for this year's grant, we can't apply for it?
It is being carried over from last year to this.
From last,
Okay, you just heard that the finance director needed to transfer money to pay payroll in the amount of $120,000. We've always talked about, and this is the way I would to have it, is to have it at a regular meeting so we can vote it out. So I will entertain a motion to transfer $120,000 to the general fund from the water fund.
Isn't that a joke?
It was moved by trustee Grant and second by trustee Ty. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one.
I have a question for you. Mohan, you wanted to transfer $120,000 from the water fund to the general fund, but that seems to me that's the majority of payroll. So we paying the maximum, well, I shouldn't say maximum, but the majority of the payroll.
Which she does.
So, you follow what I mean? Sometimes I would think that according to all these accounts payroll's like 178,000 and stuff. So we paying more than half. So we're not supplementing payroll, we're making payroll with water fund money. Is that in other words?
No.
Oh.
We have approximately about 164,000 in the bank that needs to be payable for, that will cover the accounts payable for today. In addition to accounts payable, we need money for the payroll. That is the difference between the total payroll minus the water sewer payroll that is coming from water sewer. That will take care of it. The remaining $120,000 we need that transfer from water.
So we're paying an additional 178,000 plus the 120?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Only
178 minus
only $120,000.
So we only have, what, is that 58,000 to pay payroll?
What about next week?
Question? Is there anything on accounts payable that we can hold off on paying to reduce it down to the 120,000?
I could get your question.
Is there anything on this accounts payable that we're getting ready to approve that we could hold off on so that we're not taking quite the 120?
No, we have to pay everything. All our, and all the accounts payable has to be paid. I wish I could move it forward, but I can't.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Motion carried. The next report, Chief.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of questions for Mohan before he leaves.
Okay, he was through his report, but he had asked all the questions.
What?
He was through with his report, but you had asked all the questions. You had asked a few.
No, no, I have a couple more. Mr. Moore, Mr. Mayor, one of the issues that you had when you was a trustee and also this board is immediate check. One of the issues that you had when you was a trustee was immediate checks and also this board too. So, I asked, the finance director Mohan for copies of, why did we have to pay these immediate checks that's on the front of the accounts payable? And after I got the, invoice, it didn't indicate if we are, a due date on there, or it didn't indicate if we paid early or if we paid late, there's a penalty or anything. So my question is to him, why is it that we have to have these immediate checks going out, and why couldn't they just come on the regular? Because these checks have already been paid and approved. So my question is, are we going to draft some kind of criteria for immediate checks, or who makes the decisions for immediate check? Because these invoices that he gave me didn't indicate that they had to be paid right away. In fact, they have I take some of them have October date on there, and it seems like me any bill that you did generally gives you 30 days to pay that particular bill. So my question is, why do we have to pay these checks and immediate checks?
Okay.
Oh, and one other thing I want to emphasize, that the copy that he gave me looks like it's something that you could print off and make it yourself. This is not actually a copy of the bill. So whenever I ask for something, I would like a copy of the actual bill. This is something that you would just draft up yourself. So I'm just wondering, why is it that we have to have immediate checks when it was a big issue with us all the time?
No. That's right.
Now I'm finished.
Okay. First of all, the immediate check, the reason why that was done is because the vendor, we owed them so much that they wouldn't perform the operation of the work without a check right then and there. And this particular vendor, compressor, was a something that was already taken apart, and they had, it was the compressor, it was the compressor company that came in and did our packs for the fire department. They would not finish. They had taken everything apart, and I guess they thought we were going to pay, but they said that, yes, their people told Mohan and told the fire department that in order for us to complete the work, we had to get some kind of payment right now because we owed them so much. So that's why that immediate check was done. And if you look at the next one, that was for the police and fire commissioners. That check was voided for some reason and reissued, and that's why that check had to be voted out again. We're not going to move any kind of money or do anything without this board's approval. So you were right. I always ask, but then did my research and I found out why we needed certain immediate checks is because most times that the vendors won't perform the work until they get some kind of a check. That we were thinking, and I'm sure the department heads will tell you, that they were going there and asking that even if something as simple as a flat tire, we take it in there, they say they need a check. We're going for them to perform that operation. That's where the immediate check comes from, and that's what has to be done at that particular time. So it's not something that, and as far as the receipt, I can't answer for that. I don't know what to tell you on the receipts. It may look whatever, but that's what they gave, and that's all we have. I mean, there's no way in the world we can make up receipts, and it's not gonna happen here in the village, so.
This is not a receipt, it's the actual invoice that, finance director sent me for the Sawyer lawyer office. And who is that, by the way? And what are we paying them for?
The Sailor lawyer is, it took 4 attorneys where,
Yes.
where,
It says it back there on the back, TIF 4. You know what TIF 4 is at, right here?
I know what.
Okay, well, then that's what their professional services, that's paid out of TIF 4.
a bunch of property owners failed to pay their real estate taxes for 3-4 years. Therefore, the Cook County decided that they can transfer those properties to us. In order to have transferred to us, we had to incur the attorney fees to get it over to village of Sauk Village. That's why they expended approximately about $4,000.
Well, to avoid this sort of stuff, asking these questions, wouldn't it be a good idea just to give us a little short explanation of why we had to do immediate checks? Because I think it's a big issue. It is a big issue with this board and the prior board. So could we just get a little write-up of why we drafted immediate checks?
Trustee, you're here just as much as I am. And you come and talk to Mohan just about every day. I'm sure during that time, he can give you an explanation why immediate checks are needed. But to every time write something out, that's what Mohan has regular hours. And also, since we're talking, if you need to talk to Mohan, it's no problem, but no more than 10 minutes because he's been handling so many other things, answering so many other questions that he doesn't have a chance to get his job. He doesn't have a secretary, he doesn't have an assistant. But he's here and he's accommodating anybody that would come and see, but to give you an explanation why I just said why we use immediate checks and why immediate checks are needed at that time. They're usually because either we have to pay to get services or it's an emergency.
I understand that, Mr. Mayor.
But you said you need an explanation for why we're paying the immediate check.
Yeah, because
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
if I could please interject. Whenever Mr. Rao sends an email, he does tell us why he needs it. He's asking for the amount, the payee, and the reason. And I just happened to pull up the most recent one, which is the $1,500 that the mayor was just talking about. He did tell us that it was maintenance work that needed to be done for a fire department vehicle. So I don't know how much more you would want than what he's putting into the emails already.
You got an email, I didn't get an email stating what the immediate checks were for.
I sent everybody an email.
Well, you don't have to have it.
Yes, I sent 2 emails for you.
But you
One
hear
for
every
your
day.
personal email.
You hear every day. I'm sure
I
you.
asked every day, that's why I asked,
Did she
about
ask
the,
you about the
yes.
immediate check?
That's how I got copies of
Okay.
the invoices.
Okay, well, okay. All right, well, is there anything else? Okay. Police Department, Chief Robert Kowalski, I think he's going to give a report also on the fire department.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. The fire department report for the past 2 weeks, the fire department responded to 20 calls. They answered 2 fire alarm calls, 1 person stuck in a vehicle, 1 CO alarm, 1 brush fire, 3 vehicle accidents, 1 electrical box, 1 still alarm, 8 ambulance PD assists, and 2 smells of smoke. Mayor and the board, this week is our Fire Prevention Week. It starts on October 9th through October 14th. The fire department will visit all of the schools and have demonstrations. On Saturday, October 14th at 10 a.m. until 12 p.m., they will have an open house. Fire department will open their fire station to show people young and old the fire station, show their engines and newly obtained safety trailer, which will be used for the demonstrations at the schools. The fire department also received a $75,000 grant that will be dispersed over a 5-year period, and it will be used for training and fire department equipment. That's the end of the fire department report.
Yes, sir. Going with your
Police report. Okay. For the past 2 weeks, the police department received 520 calls for service and had 5 arrests. On September 27th, a case of interest, an offender approached the victim at the Martin gas station, Maritime gas station, and displayed a handgun, hijacking the victim's vehicle. The offender drove off westbound on Sauk Trail at I-394 from the area. Information was provided to the Illinois State Police through the Illinois State Police Emergency Radio Network. Dispatch informing local area police about the incident. Within a short time, the vehicle was found in Chicago Heights by the police department, but the offenders fled on foot. The vehicle was towed back to Sauk Village for processing of physical evidence, and this is an ongoing investigation. On September 29th, the police responded to a shooting in Candlelight Village. The unknown offender shot the victim, who was the father of a child that was involved with an altercation earlier in the day at one of the schools in Sauk Village. The offenders fled the scene and the victim could not identify the person. The victim was taken to the hospital with a non-life-threatening wound. This is also a pending matter. On October 4th, between 8 and 10 at the Senior Center, we held a coffee with a cop. I believe it was a successful event for our first time, and I want to thank everyone who stopped by to have a cup of coffee and say hello. Additional events are in the planning stages for the future. Again, prescription drug drop-off. The quarterly DEA prescription drug drop-off will be held again on October 28th between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the lobby of the Sauk Village Police Department. We are asking that anyone who would like to dispose of their unwanted prescription drugs feel free to use this opportunity to do so. And lastly, the police eligibility list has been finalized by the Police and Fire Commission. We will be moving forward with replacing 2 officers who have recently left the department, and we'll be looking at 2 new officers starting at a police academy at the earliest opening that we can get them in. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
what are the hours of the drug drop-off?
It is 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we'll keep the doors open. If people are still coming in at 3 p.m., we can drop it off. And I usually, they secure the boxes, so they'll be in the station. If there's an officer, if somebody comes late, we'll still take it and put it in the box. We don't have to drop those boxes off until that, I believe it's the Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week. So we'll still be receiving.
Question?
Yes. Oh.
One final thing, Chief. I attended your coffee with the cop, and I think it was well attended. And what I liked about it is that the people that were there had an opportunity to talk to the officers and ask them, I imagine, some strange questions, but they had a chance to interface with them. So that was, I think that was a good thing. And I shared with you some of my other things that you can consider.
And they are definitely going to be enacted. Thank you very much. And the coffee cake was pretty good too.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
With the prescription drop-off, do you need them still in the bottle or just put it in the bag?
Just put it in a Ziploc bag and drop it off.
Just dump it off.
Just put it, there'll be 2 boxes. I'll have a sign there. The door will be open to the police station. You just come in and drop it off. Just so you know that, I mean, some people, if they think, oh, nobody's going to be watching them, there are cameras there. Just in case somebody wants to take some out while they put some in. not to give any suggestion.
I don't know what they're reaching from. Is that?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Public Works Director Kevin Weller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of little items here for end of the year stuff. Schedules for our tree removals is back a little bit due to some of the repairs we've been doing in water. We should be starting next week on some of the tree removals. Final cut for detention ponds, retention areas, and the ditchways in town is just about completed. We are working on the Lincoln Lansing ditch in town. We started from the Torrance Avenue section and working towards Orion. We're going to be doing sections at a time, so we may stop a little while to jump at the trees, and then we'll be back to continue. But so far, the first section is coming out really nice. If we do find debris thrown over the fences at any locations, we are turning those into community development, and usually residents that repair fences or don't want their garbage, they flip them over the fence. So far, seems like they've been complying by removing the materials. So everything is going pretty well. The next location, we're going to do a little switch around here on my report here. We're going to be starting on a fire hydrant. I have a misaddress on here. It's actually 917 Laurel Lane. This is one of the hydrants that has the mold problems underground that are rotting away. That will be the next hydrant that we'll be working on. Weather pending tomorrow, we'll be working on that one. The next location for water main replacement will be on Cornell and 223rd Street. We've had several water main breaks on the Cornell side and a couple on the 223rd side. We're going to do some main replacement over there. Cornell would be 2 sections, and then on the 223rd would be 1 section of main. This will definitely help us out. We won't have any more issues in this corner. Hydrant flushing on the south side was canceled due to the main work that we were doing on the south side of town. We didn't want to do any disturbances of the system, causing air bubbles to float around and adding more water main breaks to our work. So all went well right now. We did this year. We did flush the south side twice. So normally it's just twice a year. Due to the south side is the cast iron main. We try to sometimes do it 3 times a year. Everything's been well in all of our flushes, so we haven't had any major iron issues. So everything's been going pretty good. The end of this season's coming up, and our leaf program will be starting. Our first pickup of the month will be on November 6th. We ask at this time, though, residents do not rake their leaves down to the street. Do not do it prior to the first weekend you can do it, coming into November 6th. If we do have any rain, which has been dry all season, we're getting rain now, this will back up the streets, this will cause flooding. So if your neighbor's upset because you did that, we'll know why. Pothole work is ongoing, and we also have some patchwork that we are cutting out right now. There's 5 locations that we'll be working on. So those will be taken care of by the end of the season also. The work that we had started on for the water work, we started on a easy valve, which is 22149 Shirley. We inserted a easy valve in line, which doesn't disturb the system. This assisted us to do the valve work and the water main replacement on Shirley and 222nd, which we did the following couple days. We replaced the 22152 Shirley. We replaced the valve in a section of main about 5 feet long. So that helped us work on 2125, 222nd place, which was 18 feet of water main. The boiler that was issued at the first 22149 Shirley, that boiler was lifted on a Saturday. All residents that were affected received a letter. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Question?
Yes.
2 questions, if I may, please. First, with the hydrant flushing that was canceled, did you say that you are not rescheduling that since you did get 2 in for the year?
We normally would, but because there was 2, we don't have to. But if there's any complaints in an area, we'll deal with the individual area.
Okay, so for right now, there is no plan to reschedule that?
Not at this time.
Okay, the other question I had was tree removal, and I don't know if you can answer this or maybe the mayor can. I know that the county was coming in and was doing a lot of the tree removal on Sauk Trail, and they did a great job, but they didn't get them all. Is there a plan for them to still come back yet this season to finish that job?
First of all, there's a plan for them to be there, and this is Cook County, you got to remember that. So we never found out when they were going to come. Kevin never found out. And I asked that same question, and it's basically they didn't tell us they were leaving. They didn't tell us we were going to be there. So it's just hoping that they come back, and if not, then business as usual. So there's nothing that they told Kevin or us that they were coming back. But you're right, they were there, and it was there almost the same time right after I had a talk with the Cook County Highway Department director. And it seems to me, after I talked to him, they came 2 days later, but that was it. We're glad he came to help
Yeah,
us.
it was a nice start.
Okay. Community Development Director Sherry Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Code enforcement had a total of 299 tickets on the October 4th adjudication court. 18 were found guilty, 7 were found not guilty, 10 were granted continuances, and 264 were found in default at $750, bringing the total up to $198,000 just for the non-appearance. The only way they can fight that is to appeal in the 6th District Market Court in room 119. And then 15 businesses have completed their property maintenance, sealing of parking lots, and etc. C. James Auto and I did not appear in court on October 4th and failed to complete the list of repairs. I have turned the information over to the attorney to draft up a letter to revoke their business license, and I probably will need a police escort when I go over there, Chief, if that would be okay. I have started the process for filing 9 more water liens in the amount of $9,682.73. This concludes my report.
Thank you.
Question. I'm just curious about Subway. Was there any violations or anything, or something on our end that we could have prevented them from closing?
Not that I'm aware of. They didn't make contact with me. I just think that they didn't have a good amount of business, so he decided it wasn't profitable, so he closed.
Okay, Economic Development Director Joseph Wissawater.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. I'm very pleased to report that the application to update the Sauk Village Comprehensive Plan has been recommended as part of Chicago Metropolitan Agency on Plans 2018 Local Technical Assistance Program. As I previously reported, the cost of the comprehensive plan ranges from $100,000 to $150,000, so this is a huge win for Sauk Village. The CMAP board will vote on the recommended list of applicants tomorrow, and the village will receive formal notification of their determination. Just as a matter of perspective, 69 applicants were received. The Sauk Village was one of 19 applicants that it was determined as high or very high needs community. Only 34 of the 69 applicants have actually been recommended to the CMAP board for approval. Among those who did not make the final cut are Linwood's Downtown Development Plan, Stager's Downtown Development Plan, Richmond Park's Economic Development Plan. As many of you know, Mayor Burgess has made updating the comprehensive plan a priority of his administration and incorporating this into his strategic plan for progress. The strategic plan for progress states, and I quote, "We must do a better job of planning for development, transportation, and traffic control and housing. Planning must enhance rather than weaken our quality of life. Updating the 1999 comprehensive plan is a priority that must be taken immediately. We must provide for the proper land use and establish proper policy to meet the future needs of the village." I have worked very hard in securing this through CMAP with the support of the Mayor and the Board of Trustees on behalf of the village, and I look forward to managing the project through 2018 into 2019 to ensure long-term planning of the village. The updated comprehensive plan will bring the village to economic development as well as growth and land use goals and objectives into the 21st century and into alignment with the CMAP's Go to 2040 initiatives. This update will provide for greater opportunities for the village with respect to grants and other technical assistance that may be available. Work on the Plaza Place improvements in TIF 4 continue with the installation of the new landscaping along Sauk Trail, new pole sign, new parking lot, additional lighting for the parking lot, and additional improvements to the building, including painting and replacing some damaged soffits and fascia. Mr. Panos looks forward to completing the project very soon. Last week, the village hosted the Lincoln 394 Enterprise Zone meeting. The Lincoln 394 Enterprise Zone will be showcased at an industrial trade show in Oak Brook on October 20th. I I will be attending the event in conjunction with the Chicago South Lane Economic Development Corporation. We are also scheduling a tax increment financing joint review board meeting on October 24th at 10 a.m. in Village Hall. That is a correction to the date and the time for the meeting in the report that you guys have. Finally, the CSEDC will be hosting their quarterly forum on October 25th in Alsep. I plan on attending and representing the village at that. That concludes my report.
Mr. Bouzouin, I just have a question. So, the $100 to $150,000 that's needed for the comprehensive plan, is it my understanding that you're saying that we may get a grant to take care of that?
No, in fact, the CMAP will be actually doing the comprehensive plan for the village. The cost of that is between $100,000 to $150,000, depending on how involved.
So they're going to actually do it after the input?
Correct. They're going to do the entire plan with the support of the village and the community.
So the last time we had one done was when?
1998, and it finished in 1999. It's an 18-month process.
Yeah, it is, because we couldn't cover everything that you're doing. That's a good job. I hope we can get that. Y'all clap. That's a lot of savings, but that comprehensive plan is nothing to play with. 1999 was the last time it was, and that's what most villages go by. That's the Bible of the village, really, when you try to do economic development. Okay, I just want to say before the department heads leave that I do see a lot of improvement in all departments as far as what's going on, and I'm sure I've heard a lot from the residents that they're seeing a difference in a look with public works, with the police department, and with economic development, and also, even though you may not know it, but Sherry's out there doing what she's being asked to do, and that's to make sure that the businesses are in compliance with what, and because a lot of times people, you want to know why we didn't, Subway is one of the things Subway says is they need people to come in and patronize their business. So that's something that we need to do. But if you have a problem with some of the businesses, that's the only way you can is to come and come see it. And that's one of the things that Sherry does, go out to make sure that they're in compliance with the village and the village code. Thank you guys very much.
Good night.
Good night. Reports of trustees and standing committees, public service. Trustee Brewer.
I have no report for public service. However, for the senior advisory committee, I'd like to introduce Emmett Farmer, who's the chairperson of that committee, and who'll be taking over getting the senior committee up to par with different programs and everything. So come up, Mr. Emmett. He's also on the zoning board here in the village. He is a longtime resident, 30 years or so? Right?
No, not like that.
No, he's been around a while.
Okay, just 1 second. From this point on, that's why I was wondering how that guy, because I had gave him instruction from this point on, Mr. Farmer, you will be reporting on the senior committee, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then, Madam Trustee, your report will consist of public service.
Yes.
Okay. Because I had asked for that to be put on here that way.
No, but I thought introduction would be better first, so I asked Marvin just to put it like it is, and then we introduce him, and then next meeting, he'll have a report and stuff. So, I mean, he comes in and you don't know who he is, so he needs to be introduced. I don't know if everybody knows him or not. So we have to have an introduction.
Okay, so you're giving me senior advisory committee meeting minute or committee minute?
Yes, well, every second Thursday, we actually have a senior advisory council meeting.
At what time?
5 o'clock.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yes, you need to get your mic, because I can just barely hear you. Does somebody get my mic?
Thank you. Sorry. Every second Thursday, we'll have a senior advisory council meeting. We actually have one coming this Thursday. We'll be, I didn't know I was supposed to make a report or anything to you tonight. So I guess, like Trustee Brewer said, I'll make sure that I'll make.
And that second will be at 5 p.m.?
5 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anything else? I just want to say congratulations. I did ask Trustee Brewer for the names and contact numbers of all the people that's on the advisory council so we can.
We had that ready.
Well,
Where is it at?
we did actually Paulette Weeks did have it, but it was a couple errors on there, so I told her don't present it to you.
Just drop it off in the village hall. We'll make the other copy. I just need that on hand so we can count it on. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. And also, one pertinent question. How are you guys getting into the senior center? Because you're going to have the meeting after business hours, so that's what I was asking.
I'm always there.
Hmm?
I'm generally there open the phone. I'm attending their meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Trustee Brewer, that again.
Okay, I just wanted to know, if you're going to be meeting it, you got to have a way, but okay. All right.
So we haven't discussed, I guess, any how the keys or I'm not sure.
Right. And it wasn't. That's why I needed to sit down and talk, but
Okay.
I'll be at, hopefully I can be there in a second. That's this coming Thursday.
This coming Thursday.
Hope I can make it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Trustee Roger Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things. First thing I want to say is that we are still powering through the policies and procedures, almost done. I'd like to give Lohan a couple more times before we make a final decision on a few things. Second thing is that we do have a meeting with the department heads just to kind of go over budget versus actuals so far, since we're almost 5-6 months into the new budget year. Just want to make sure we're on track and nothing goes crazy before it gets out of hand. That's going to be on October 20th at 1 o'clock. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Grant. Parks, Recreation, and Youth Services, Trustee Calvin Jones.
October 28th is trunk or treat, parade and trunk or treat, starting at noon at Rickover and marching down to the community center. First come, first serve on the parking spaces. If you want a good parking spot, I would advise you to get there in plenty enough time, set your trunk up, decorate it, and hopefully we have good weather and come out and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Quite a question.
Oh.
What would you need us to do? Anything you want us to do for your trunk or treat,
Bring your car, and bring your candy and participate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Trunk or treat is kind of one of the kind of self-efficient type of programs that actually happen.
Okay, Housing and Governmental Relations Committee, Trustee Cecil Tate.
Thank you. Of course, we have to submit some final information to the publishing company on the resident handbook, and hopefully I can get a draft of that, a final draft of that from them and their setup. We were talking, a conversation earlier was about immediate checks. Be mindful that the $300 for that comes out of the Housing Committee's budget. So you may see an immediate check for that. I do need a copy of the tax exempt letter for both the printing company for the resident handbook and also for the flag purchase. So I would need 2 copies of that. Okay, so we can avoid, not pay any additional monies. The second thing that we did, and the trustees, I think the clerk provided the trustees with a copy of the shelters list that I had last meeting. We did provide a copy to the library, and they're going to keep it there in case the residents need to go over there. And I did provide a copy to code enforcement, who are going to share it with the front desk in case people come here and need information on shelters. I had 3 copies for the first responders, police, fire, and EMA. Because being first responders, they may have contact with residents more rapidly than anyone else. So I have 3 copies for each one of them of things that they can do to alleviate the problems with the people being homeless, let's say. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Tate. Ordinance Review Committee, Trustee Linda Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next ordinance review committee meeting is on October 23rd here at the Village Hall at 6:30 p.m. We're always looking for volunteers, so if you find you have nothing to do, join us. We're going to be working on false alarms ordinance. The chief of police has asked us to review that because there's so many false alarms. So we're going to be working on that probably for the next couple of months. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Public Safety, Trustee Beth Zupan.
Thank you. Just a few things. First of all, I wanted to thank the other board members who did participate in the Coffee with a Cop. I thought it was good of us, for those who could make it, to also be there and spend a little bit of time with the residents who came out. So thank you to those of you who did participate. Just as a reminder as well, to follow up on what the chief was talking about with the drug drop-off. You know, if you can't make it to the police station that day, a lot of times your doctors, your regular physicians, if you take them in to them, they're happy to take them off your hands as well. They've got, obviously, in their possession the right means to dispose of those items as well. If I could too, just mention, I don't think we've said anything about trick-or-treat hours officially. I know I did see it go out on the water bills. It's from 4 to 7 this year, so please pass that around. If your neighbors or anyone is asking about it, it is 4 to 7 officially. And then also wanted to let everybody know that the Public Safety Committee did meet last week. One of the topics for conversation was mutual aid organizations that we participate in. There's a good number that we have memberships with. I am actually going to attend one of those organizations' meetings later this week, hopefully scheduling permitting. And also, as a byproduct of the IML conference at the end of September, found out about a mutual aid organization for public works, which we are not a member of, so I shared some information with Kevin earlier tonight and asked him to take a look at that. He and I are going to follow back up on that as well. So had some good dialogue at our committee meeting last week where mutual aid organizations are concerned. We also had some conversations about different things that we can offer in way of community-wide events where, you know, with the police department, different topics for discussion, that we can have different sessions, different dates. So I would like to ask the clerk if we could maybe, after this meeting or maybe tomorrow, schedule some time to talk about when the village is available from a standing meeting perspective, so I can understand when there's availability for the rotunda versus not.
We're working on that.
Okay, perfect.
We don't have one yet.
Okay. All right, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee.
Trustee Zupan, I apologize. On public safety, let me ask you this. I noticed that, you know, we don't have it here at our police department, but a lot of police departments are going for the safety when people are buying things through we'll say Craigslist or one of those, and they're actually, instead of doing a transaction at somebody's house, they're actually coming to the police department. Is that something that your committee
We have
would
not
discuss?
talked about that yet, but I can certainly ask the chief. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people do that too, you know, whether it's at police departments or, you know, parking lots of malls or, you know, somewhere where it's a very public presence and people feel safer. I can ask the chief if he's said anything officially up along those lines or not, but to date, we have not covered that topic.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Unfinished business. I'll entertain a motion to approve the policy and procedures for the Sauk Village Senior Center.
So, second.
Okay, it was moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Jones. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tate,
No.
Todd,
Yes.
Zupan,
No.
Gruber. Yes. Grant,
No.
Jones.
Yes.
No. Motion to approve the resident handbook and production expenses for the Lance printing for 100 handbooks at the cost of $300.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Can we amend the motion to correct the name of Lance Printing to Lance? I think it's L-A-N-S.
LANS.
Oh, L.A. and Lance, okay, L-A-N-S, okay. Lance printing.
Correct.
I'll amend my motion, Mayor, to approve the expenditure of $300 to Land's Printing for 100 copies of the handbook.
Question?
Have a second. She amended the motion, so I read it Lance and it's Lance. So she amended the motion to make it Lance instead of Lance. That's why I was asked for a second.
Second.
Okay, so it was moved by trustee Zupan, and second by trustee Grant. Any questions?
Question. Mr. Mayor, well, I should have directed to trustee Tate. You said he was going to give us a revised copy of the, not a revised copy of the front page or something, you know, before it was printed, going to print.
No, we, at the last meeting, trustee Zupan showed us one of the many logos that Sauk Village has that we were gonna put on it. So that's the one that we're gonna go with.
So we're supposed to get a copy before it goes to print?
No.
I thought that we discussed on the committee on the whole that we'd like to see the resident handbook before it goes to the printer to make sure that everything is up to date in it.
You received via email a copy of the resident handbook.
I
to
did not
read.
receive anything by email. That's why I'm asking.
Well, it was sent to you.
Well, I did not have it.
Very good.
Because he always said nothing came.
Trustee, I'm sorry, I'm not sure that I received that either. When did you send it?
I don't have my computer here with me. It should have been within, well, right after, or shortly after the last meeting.
This is the Parliament's fraction board. They complained about the
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor. Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Todd,
No.
Zupan,
Yes. Brewer.
no. Grant,
Yes.
She said she would.
Yes.
Tate.
Yes.
Did she say she did it?
She said she did.
Motion is carried.
Yeah, she said yes.
Okay, a motion to approve the resolution
They're all going to be.
for the authorizing the village to enter a loan agreement with Old Town Bank for $83,000 for the purchase of 3 police vehicles. The loan is for 5 years with an interest rate of 4.2%, and the payments will be made annually.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Zupan. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, is this the same, resolution where we had to put $100,000 into the Old Plains Bank in order to get a bridge loan? Is this associated with this?
This is the same one. We put $100,000 to get the low interest rate down, yes.
So do we have anything from Old Plains banks that indicate that they're gonna give us a interest loan? Do we have anything from Old Plains Bank?
That's why we're into this motion and into this agreement now. Yes, we do have something, we haven't signed anything yet because it has to be voted out, but we do have an agreement.
We have a written agreement with the Old Plains Bank?
We haven't voted anything. We have to vote it out first, then we get a written agreement. We have to put the amount down and get all this. That's why we had to come back. If you notice, we did this before. They needed to have all this verbiage in here and actually a copy of the minutes before they would do anything. So they made to make sure that the board was on board and everything, all the things were taken care of before they even. But yes, we do have an agreement verbally with them to purchase the vehicles, but we won't get anything in writing until they get this resolution in the minutes.
So we got $100,000 that the Old Plains Bank has to be in the Old Plains Bank for 5 years when we could go and buy these vehicles for $83,600. Why are we sitting $100,000 in the bank for 5 years?
We're putting the money that's going into the bank to be money out of some accounts that we had that we can't touch anyway. So we're just moving it to that account. So it's always, you want to deplete your money to buy this?
Well,
because this is coming, this is going to be paid through the drug seizure fund. So I mean, we don't have quite that much in that fund to buy those vehicles.
well, Mr. Mayor, I got some supporting documents from Mohan saying this money is going to come out of the CN fund, and that's one reason I forgot to ask him about it before he left, and all the documents I had before prior to us getting elected, we didn't have that much money in the CNN fund. Now, I actually have a document that shows that, and it's in the minutes, I do believe, where he said he was going to take the $100,000 out of the CNN fund when there wasn't $100,000 in there. So I'm wondering, where is this money coming from? And you saying this is coming from the drug seizure now?
No, I didn't say. I said the payments are coming from that. We don't have that much money in there to pay. But back to your other statement, there's much more money than $100,000 in the CN fund. So I don't know where you said there was not $100,000 in there. I don't know where that came from. Okay, because I don't know where that came from, but
$100,000 in there.
yes, there's a little bit more than that in there.
Okay.
Because originally, when this is the money for the noise mitigation. Originally, when it was done a few years ago, it was $272,000. Over the years, the lawyers, and then some of the money we actually, people that actually feel got for doing their homes was paid out of that. So, but there's over $100,000. And it was stated, and I'm sure the trustees were there, that we have other funds that we can use. We have to take it out of that. We have other funds that we can't touch. There's other funds we can't touch money in. And we can just let it sit there. Hopefully we can draw some interest. And we're also working on this, is not just for this reason. We're working on this to establish credit again in the village. Because right now we don't have any credit. So at one point in time, hopefully this time next year, we can get a bridge loan of $500,000 so we don't have to keep going back and forth. So we have to establish credit some kind of way, and this is one of the reasons and one of the ways to do it.
Yeah, just think of this as collateral.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, back in July, Trustee Grant requested supporting documents that indicate that where the money is coming from. And now I just realized I have a copy of a $100,000 check from the CN Noise Mitigation Fund. But you saying it's coming from drug seizure, so.
No.
Wait a minute,
No,
I'm not finished with my question.
But you're making a statement, I did not say $100,000 was coming from. I want, because you put this on record. I
okay.
did not say
Well,
that
then
the
I'll
money is
ask the
coming
question,
from.
then you can probably clear it up,
I
and
can
I'm asking the
probably,
question.
no, I'm gonna clear it up,
I haven't
Madam.
answered the
Well, I
question
mean,
yet.
Madam,
I haven't
trustee.
finished my question yet, Mr. Mayor. Now, as you can see, and I'll show
can't
you
see
a copy
anything.
of it, that $100,000 came out of CNN fund. But if you look on, and I don't have the report, Mohan said there wasn't $100,000. Like you said, I'll be here every day. So I'm trying to figure out where this money is coming from and why we've been sitting in an old Planks Bank for 5 years. You said to get a bridge loan, we could take that $100,000 and buy the cars. But,
No, you
know,
cannot. That's what I'm trying to
Can I just
tell you.
interject for a second?
No, you cannot use that money. That's what I'm trying to say.
but we can
We
use
need
it
to
to sit in
establish,
somewhere.
and I don't want you to put it out there that the money, that we're paying the car with the CN money. That was never said. I said that the payments, the yearly payments are gonna be coming out of the drug seizure.
Can I
The
just make a
yearly
statement
payments
that
are
this,
coming out of the drug seizure.
Trustee Brewer?
No, wait a minute,
Can I just,
everybody's interrupting the mayor, and I'm trying to
I just-
understand
No,
stuff,
nobody-
you know.
I just want to clear something up. You keep saying CNN, and
CN funds,
CN, just
Yes.
one N. It sounds like you're saying CNN.
well, that's
I don't wanna,
CN
like,
fund, noise
throw it
mitigation
like that.
fund. Okay, so, we are paying out of the drug seizure fund every year, is that what you're saying? The
That's
payment
where we get the
stays on?
payments from.
Okay,
And if we don't get it from there, we have other means to get it, but that's basically what it's originally coming from, yes.
and how much is the annual payment supposed to be?
Like I said, we have to get to this point. When the annual payments come, I'm sure you'll get a copy of that too. But that's not in this resolution.
Okay, so after we approve the resolution, we're gonna get something from the bank in writing that
Yes.
indicates that they're willing to, entertain a bridge loan with us.
No. No. One has nothing to do with the other. The bridge loan is something we're trying to establish as a village. We don't have the capacity to borrow money right at this point because of past practices or because of what happened. We have to establish credit. In order for us to establish credit is to do this. That's how you establish credit. Hopefully, at the end of this, maybe hopefully next year, we can have enough, our credit will be along with our audits are in place that we can go back, and this is something that we talked to Old Plank about, we can go back and then be able to borrow $500,000 to bridge between the summertime when we don't have the money that we always have to borrow from.
And Mr. Mayor, if I could, please, can we get away from calling it a bridge loan?
That's true.
It's a line of credit.
Line of credit, you're right.
So it would be a $500,000 line of credit that when we would have a shortfall, like needing $120,000 to make payroll because the income tax and the sales tax is 2 weeks behind where it should be, that we could draw upon that money and then return and repay it when those funds do come in.
Absolutely.
So it is a line of credit. And in order to establish that trust and that relationship with Old Plank, we have to have that $100,000 sit there for the duration of these car loans that we will pay with the drug seizure fund.
So it's my understanding that $100,000 came out of the CN fund, mitigation fund, to go to Old Planks, but we're paying with drug seizure money, the annual payment. Is that right? Is that what you said?
What I said originally, yes, if we can get to the point where we don't have to pay it out of drug seizure, we have other funds that we can probably pull it from within the police department, yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Tate.
Yes.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Okay, I entertain a motion for the recodification of the ordinances and supplements from 2013 to the present at a cost of $7,652.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by trustee Zupan and second by trustee Todd, any questions?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Going forward, every year, do you think that we can put the $1,700 aside in the budget so we can keep up with this?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
No, it'd be
Whatever it may
about
be.
1,700.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just to keep up with it, 'cause
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Brewer? Yes. Grant?
yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion for accounts payable and disbursements in the amount of $264,432.91 per Sauk Village policy.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Grant. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Brewer? Yes.
The other group was Andy.
Grant?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Todd?
This one.
Yes.
Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve an ordinance amending section 10, article 3 of the, for dangerous animals and vicious animals and rabid animals of the village code.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Todd. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
As I indicated at the study session that we had, committee meeting that we had, I had not received this ordinance, and you gave me yours. And I did indicate that I had some concerns after the meeting was over with, which I submitted to trustee Todd, and I have not received the information, so I will be voting no on this ordinance for that reason.
May I reply to that?
Yes.
I did get an email. I replied to your email the same day. You handed the ordinance over, put it in my box and highlighted, but never put what the feedback is that you wanted. I could not guess what you wanted changed or what your concerns were. So I just want that noted, that I did return the email on the same day at 2:06 p.m. stating that I received the document in my box, but I needed to know what the highlighted areas that you wanted changed or to see what was done or what your concerns were, but I never received anything.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Grant?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Tate?
No.
Todd?
Yes.
Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Did you call me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Brewer? I'm calling on you now.
Oh, yes. I was slow. Is that what you're saying?
No, she was.
Oh,
I thought she had
Say
called.
your name.
I thought she had called. That was my mistake. Okay.
She doesn't know. Double check.
Questions and comments from the board? We start with trustee Todd.
Nothing at this time.
Trustee Brewer.
Well, since the policy and procedures haven't been approved for the senior center, what direction do we go in now? The committee has taken a look at it and it hasn't been changed any, so where do you want us to start at now?
As far as what's going on, the community center will stay the same it is. Anything over weekend financially will come before me. But I would ask that, and he's gone, that the Mr. Farmer would look at that policy, kind of find out what it is, why the trustees voted no on it. There are some things in there that are questionable that I saw, but I was going back and forth, so I quit going back and forth. I brought it to the trustees to let them look at it. So I would suggest that there's probably a few things, I'm sure it's not a whole lot, but there are a few things in there that are questionable. So it's just ongoing. They can, I'm sure that the meeting on Tuesday, if anybody can Thursday, this coming Thursday, if anybody can make it. Any trustee that can come to that meeting can come and give an input. And so it would be an open meeting, so it won't be any problems with them giving input. But I would suggest that the ones that, and I will be there, that voted no to come in and give input. Anything else?
Oh, if you could provide that in writing, so we could probably look at it and address it, to be ready and everything before they get there.
Well, I don't know what they can do, it's up to them how they do it, but I'm sure they'll have the one in there, they can make notes and hand it to whoever they need to hand it to. Anything else?
No.
Trustee Tate?
A couple of things, more than a couple. Bloom Trail is having, or I think they started the utility assistance program at Bloom Trail. Bloom Township. Correct, Bloom Township. In previous years, they used to come here to Village Hall and sign up residents who needed some assistance with their utilities. So that did not happen. But the residents can still go over to Bloom Township. Now, this program for utility assistance closes on the 12th, which is Thursday. So they need to get over there like yesterday and try to fill out the application or whatever they need to do for utility assistance. On the back table, I also have a flyer with CETA, and I plan on having CETA to come and give a talk to what programs they offer. Now, for the month of October is for senior citizens, and they will be doing, providing some assistance for senior citizens. Next month is for single parents. So they have things in place, but I think it's better that a representative from CETA can better explain on what they're doing and how they can benefit Sauk Village residents. There he is. Director of Economic Development, I didn't see it first, assisted in trying to find donors to help pay for our flags. So we have 2 donors lined up. As you recall, we collected $526 in selling the blankets that were raffled off at the Corn and Dogwoods. And so we're short another $594. So he's doing his diligence, trying to find someone who will pay or pick up that expense. That's why I need the tax exempt letter, so when I get that, I can go ahead and order. Now, we need to order the flags quickly because the flag provider indicated this is a busy time of the season for him. So we need to get them ordered quickly. Now, Mr. Mohan has a line item for us with $526. So if we could get a donor to pay the balance of it. Why are you laughing? Get a donor to pay the balance of it. And then, again, here's where an immediate check may show up. Because it's going to be the donor's check and the money that we have in there, that I'm going to need a check to send when I order the flags. So that's something that's coming up. We've had 2 individuals volunteer. I had last week on the back table indicated that we would have a dedication program or a renewal program and say, hey, look at our flags, don't you feel good about it? And I had asked for some veterans to participate in doing that on the meeting that we have October 24th. I have 2 veterans that volunteered to assist us in that endeavor. But yes. And what that's indicated, I'm glad you brought that up, what that's indicated, we're not going to, on Veterans Day, there's a possibility we may not have a color guard. So if we get the flags by the 24th, they're simply going to station the flags here at Village Hall. So when you walk in, you'll see the flags. So that's why I said placement of the flags. There won't be a formal ceremony, so to speak, but I think the veterans should be allowed to bring in the branch flag that they represent And also, I was going to ask the police chief and to have one of his officers to do the American flag, and the fire department to do the state and Sauk Village flags. So, and I haven't spoken with them yet, but I will speak with both department heads for those things to make sure we get those in place. And we do have to purchase the state of Illinois flag because, as I indicated, the state of Illinois doesn't give away flags anymore. So we're going to purchase flags. Keeping in mind that on Thursday, the 12th, we have the healthcare seminar. Flyers are on the door, and there's flyers on the website, and there's some, I think there's some on the back table. So we're trying to get PSC to come out and give an overview of their program, how it benefits those who to further their education, and how it benefits those who are seeking employment. So I hope that you can come out on Thursday to witness their presentation. Veterans Day again is 11/11/11. We're still looking for volunteers for Veterans Day. We have a couple of individuals thus far who volunteered, so we need some more volunteers that will assist us in putting on the program. The program is being drafted, flyers are being drafted, and we're just trying to get speakers committed, who can be placed on the written program. We're also working with Bloom Trail to get them, get commitments from them. That's a Saturday, so students, may be hard to get students on a Saturday, but we're going to try it. We're still trying that. Mine blew out today. It's a green light campaign for veterans. If you know veterans, you respect veterans, you want to do anything for veterans, it's asked during this season that you replace a light bulb on your home with a green light bulb, just to show you support veterans in general. As I said, mine blew out last night and I've got to replace it. But anyway, if you want to put a green light bulb to indicate your support, that'll be fine. And also, finally, on the back table, there's a flyer with a pink, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's for breast cancer awareness. It's on the back table. They're having their seminar in Maryville. I'm not sure the date now, but the flyers on the back table, so you can get that and then go to Maryville to help support this cause. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Tate. Trustee Jones?
During our Parks and Recreation Committee meeting last Thursday, we discussed a number of things, and one was the Christmas parade, and we're still working on the start time. We got to come up with try to figure out what's a better start time, because the start time dictates the end time, and we want to, make sure that it's dark out with the tree lighting ceremony, and that'll be December 9th. That'll be the Christmas parade, and this month there will not be open gym because trunk or treat is on the day of open gym. So look forward to that in November for open gym. And that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Zupan?
Even though I did vote for it and we approved the motion, Trustee Tate, I think since it sounds like several of us, myself included, did not see the resident handbook, if you could please make sure that we get a copy of it, just as a last safety net before it goes to print, because I'd hate to have something be an oops that would cost us 100 copies already done. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate that, please. Thank you. That was it.
Trustee Grant?
No comment.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion. This is long.
It's not long.
Okay.
We have so many programs, and it's really wonderful that we have all of these programs, but you introduce them and talk about them here at this meeting. When today we didn't even have 20 people in the audience. If we want our programs to be successful, they have to be promoted to a greater extent to those who would benefit. We have to do a better job for promoting it. I'm more than willing to do some of it through the e-blast, through our e-news, on Facebook. I'm willing to do that. But your message has to get to the people who's going to utilize the service. I don't think any of the people that's in this room would come to trunk or treat for themselves, or come to open gym, or would need to go to class for health care. And they're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful programs. But we have to start promoting what we're doing. That's it.
Can I just piggyback off of that, please, in support of what the clerk just said? Wholeheartedly agree. And, you know, at the same time, she and I have had multiple conversations on this topic, because I have told her that she shouldn't be taking a lot of this on herself. She needs to be directed by us. So, you know, and I'll tell you, I'm a perfect example of it, right? Because the first time I had my committee meeting agenda, I sent it to her and I said, hey, post this for me. And she put it everywhere, right? She put it out here, she put it on the website, she put it on Facebook, she put it on the email, the e-news. And so this most recent time, I just sent her the email saying, hey, please put this out there. Well, she put it on the website, right? And I beat her to the punch because I wanted to make sure I had my 48-hour notice in, so I put it out here myself. But then I was bugging her about, well, wait a minute, you didn't put it on Facebook and you didn't put it on e-news. And she's like, well, I didn't know what you wanted me to do. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. I didn't tell her. So we have to be clear with her. And I told her she needs to tell us what guidelines she needs from us, you know. So, because the other thing I said to her was, why did you, kind of reinvent the wheel when I gave you this document? She said, well, because I need it in a certain format and that wasn't what you gave me. And I said, okay, but
Wow, it's really coming down.
communication, you need to let us know. So we can't expect her to take on some of the things that we should be doing and telling her. So I would just ask my other board members that, we need to make sure that we're taking ownership of giving her the information that we want to get out there. That we can't expect her to just assume, because we're talking about it here, that she's going to do it. We need to be directing her. That's it.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's moved by trustee Brewer, second by trustee Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I didn't know that.